point in time. You can call it our weekly Brooklyn news. With the offer match sheet signed by the Suns to DeAndre Ayton's return, that closes the Kevin Durant trade to Phoenix for now. It makes it a lot more complicated. They have to get another team involved. And there has to be some other moves that have to happen for that to happen, for him to go to Phoenix. Now, looking at that, Jerry West came out and said, you can't trade enough to get Kevin Durant. And I agree with that. Kevin Durant's asking price is unknown because he's that valuable. It's like trading for Shaq in his prime. It's like trading for a LeBron James in his prime, a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like the asking price for these guys, if Utah is trying to get 6 first-round picks for Donovan Mitchell, what do you think the asking price for Kevin Durant is? I don't think there's a duo in the league that can replicate that. It would have to be like, I can't even think. It would have to be crazy in order for a trade to go through, for that to work. So all the roads are leading back to Kevin Durant heading back to Brooklyn. Now, does that mean Kyrie Irving's going to stay there? They're trying to facilitate something with the Lakers for Russell Westbrook at some point. Maybe not even. Maybe there's a third team. I've read somewhere that the Spurs might help facilitate that, which I don't agree with. I don't see the Spurs facilitating that deal and helping the Lakers in which way, given their history, unless it's a bunch of draft picks, which the Lakers don't have, which Brooklyn doesn't have because they gave to Houston. So all these trickling effects and all these stories that we're hearing, I don't see an avenue right now where Kevin Durant gets out of Brooklyn, especially with that Suns trade going, that Suns signing of DeAndre Ayton going down. Could he end up in Miami? That would require them to move some more pieces, move Ben Simmons, potentially to bring in a Bam Adebayo or Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson. I'm sorry, that just doesn't sound good from the Nets' perspective to get basically 4 quarters on the dollar, as they always say. You're getting a bunch of quarters that's for a player that's $1, and those 4 quarters don't equal $1. So no, that doesn't work for them. So you start looking around the league and you're like, where else could he go? Boston probably has a bunch of assets that Brooklyn would want and try to rebuild and build around, potentially Jaylen Brown, a Marcus Smart, or whatever package they can throw in around Jaylen Brown and picks. Maybe that's more enticing, but I just don't see the Celtics breaking up their young core for a 34-year-old player who has an injury history and trading away a young star like that. I just don't see that. So we keep looking around. People have been ridiculously saying the Lakers, LeBron for KD, and that's fit. I wouldn't do that either. I understand what you're saying, but it's not making sense. So no, I wouldn't do that either. You start looking around. Clippers, I don't see them trading Paul George or Kawhi Leonard for Kevin Durant. I just don't see that. So there's going to have to be some movement if he is going to end up in Phoenix. There's going to have to be either a 3-team or 4-team trade deal there for that to happen. And I just don't see that happening for Kevin Durant. So he's returning back to Brooklyn most likely to start the season right now. Unless some fairy tale offer comes out of nowhere. But the Nets are a really big conundrum for me because it's like, okay, let's say you do bring these guys back. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. You do bring them back. You do what you need to do. Maybe Kyrie Irving boosts his trade value over the course of the season and you get him out of there, get some assets. Say, hey, Kevin, sit down, man. We're going to sit you down for a little bit and we're going to trade you in the offseason. Maybe more teams with cap space next year open up. Maybe a star gets disgruntled, whatever the case may be. What is that plan? What is the plan here? Steve Nash is still the coach of the Brooklyn Nets to my knowledge, and I said this last week in my other video. Why is he still the coach? If you bring him back, what has Steve Nash showed you as a coach to be trustworthy? Not even necessarily trustworthy, but in the playoffs, in big moments, making adjustments. What has he done to show you that he's trustworthy in those situations? I haven't seen it. But I don't know. I really just don't know about this Nets situation and what they're going to do here. Do I think they should try to flip all these guys for as much as they can? Absolutely. They traded all their picks in the James Harden trade, and it's just weird. I don't know how this works. And I explained to some people that Kevin Durant asked for a trade not because he wanted it initially out of Brooklyn. I believe he wanted a trade because they didn't extend Kyrie Irving. And I strongly think that's the motivation behind this trade request right now. And I said that. I was like, they're a duo package. Whatever sense that doesn't make to you, whatever sense it doesn't make to the average fan or whatever the case may be, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving went there as a package deal to Brooklyn. Basically wanted to be involved in all the ins and outs of the team. And what did they have shown is that they're not a good team building team. These guys don't know how to build a team. DeAndre Ayton, trading all the young guys. DeAndre Jordan, my bad. Trading all the young guys over the past couple of years. Turning around, bringing in Blake Griffin. Bringing in Steve Nash as the coach. And all these bad decisions have not equaled up to what the Nets wanted. But you know what you signed up for when you did this, when you brought these two guys in here. You saw how disgruntled Kyrie Irving was in his other stops. You've seen how even disgruntled Kevin Durant was, even winning championships in Golden State, how he was ousted. And you signed up for this. And I also said this to somebody. You know what you signed up for when you brought these two in here. You know what you signed up for. And this is what comes with it. So now what are the moves for Brooklyn? Do you bring these guys back and be like, hey, maybe we can try to retool, rebuild? You don't have any picks. So you can't bring anybody in. You're going to have to rely on Nick Claxton, Joe Harris. Bruce Brown, you also lost to the Denver Nuggets. So that's another hole you have to fill. But you have Ben Simmons. And what's his status? And what's he doing? Is he going to shoot the ball? Is he going to play point guard? All these question marks are around the Brooklyn Nets. And it's like, what are they going to do?